Right. It is 6:43, so close meeting for, good evening, everybody. I meeting good news there in Memphis. As we see for school learning technologies, up and running. But call this meeting to order here at 6:45 and 6:44 on Thursday, April 10th. Some plans to protocol. Just here. Here. Chance here. Absent. It's in place. It's lease. Okay. Lease. Well, bonus thing. No radius. Ice. And you all have received all the minutes from the month of March, along with the zoning committee. As you all had time to go through the minutes, and so I'd like to make changes that need to be made sometimes the first community. There are no changes. I'll entertain a question. Sure. Yes, the motion being accepted. Something that we have the next years. For state, one for zoning, I see for the two for zoning, one for the executive meeting, one city meeting minutes for the March general meeting. It's a table. All of those things they want to provide us and just review. In favor of tabling. That's typically time to review to provide record has. 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Opposed. Any abstentions? Is a meeting tomorrow this morning at 9:30 a.m. to about future sustainability. It's going to be at the Wells Farm. Um, so anyone who's interested in bringing about their future plans for things, right? Some very encouraging changes that they are planning to do there. So that meeting is in person at the Wells Farm tomorrow morning, 8:30 to 11:30 a.m. Meters was at the 1980 on Saturday. I'm living in Eastport and the YMCA, the ends of the region. All these videos as well. Yes, there are flyers on the table. You want to like them if you can. There are only a limited number of flyers to take a picture of the flyer and that. So keep driving to the right. Maximum amount of flyers in the future. It's going to be candy. Anything that you're wrong is going to be needed. Just community Thursday, 24-25. Right, so 6:30 p.m. these representatives to the state is discussing the latitude project, also the school towers. Huge and active project. This is big, maybe that's a pretty 24 to 6:30 p.m. Maybe any additional announcements?
Sponsoring a tribute to this Saturday, April 12th, of the and sign free lunch for the kids, free admission.
And maybe the best one. Any additional announcements? Yeah, just a community reminder that currently person being in March Road, elevation of the Greenland County elections is probably meetings 6 or 7 election. Additional announcements. Okay, now special district joint community hours. There's a council definition and representing the communities. Days, rather than promotions, located 91 Beach Street. Basics, East Main Street, file 43213. Join us for open dialogue that based on city, state initiatives that impact our communities. So,
the unit. Also too, there's a huge, like I said, makes it used as a polling station, this is primary customer team, one kind of their justice schedule. Obviously, the offices are like opportunity, there's a decent polling station here, of the primary regions. Okay. So kind of talking about the past couple of years about the American specifically being large, but from the neighborhoods last year started working with the candidates, the marketing firm. They had which were making spots. And so they had podcasting and 2, 3, 5 radio stations. Also, the talk electronic, let's just know that it is kind of something that we, along with the partnership with the city council, is it was kind of helping with this provider solutions, design investors, how to talk about this, how do we get more people involved with their commissions. So, also now, again, in this country, as in other radio stations throughout the city, as they have their commissions, their commission of actions. And that's the people to start telling so that's just a name of the department, which was what's that, some of the sentence that we usually do. Time I ever had, which is for example, from education, and it was often some not to you, but they just have that in mind as we go into the next couple of months. That's what we got for their training. That's their training for planning team. And I want to see their full, right? With the administration leaders through commission, letting commissioners have to know this book and who participating and who is usually regular attendance trainings to take track. It's with 15, 20 people with conflicts. So the just offers more time. There is some training schedule that has that on it. You can also set up the training schedules to have those dates again. Most people go very fast. As first come, first served. And then please, I'm gonna take the time, probably have a special guest, correcting this for the department of business. And I want to turn the goal to just city boards.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Linda. I am the director. Maybe because I'm still using the term, the housing, things I'm still learning. I've been on the job all for 7 months. Based on my own planning and the students very capacity, very good to see the business, the mindsets, and so I think it's an opportunity to serve the public and as we found the vision. What's now? How about that? I was there. I'm going to get that my friend in the corner had on the table for me. And I was he says it's a pleasure to be here. I do not want to come off with you. And if I if it's something you'd like to ask me, but also like to shout out and for sure. I think it happens to consider the engagement to be on my face, and that's what we need to try tonight. This child is not all on the stories that I've been here. So, I just want to talk about you right now to tell how she says, and she was the sound and true to her mothers. It's done. And I will be this is she. So I don't need to take questions. Since all it's not having you.
But that's the piece that is on and days. Okay, so and yes, last month we some give it all what was this couple from 16 14, 16, 14. Oh, I'm sorry, this is what's coming up on meeting, next Thursday.
Yeah, but it's really good for the water. Capacity to cloud and that's really good for anything over street. For 1746 Greenway. This coming last month, we reviewed 172 North 21st Street, 589 Rose Avenue, 576 Fairwood Avenue, and 700 Long Street, which was a graphics review. So we are having fairly significant agendas. That's the end of my reporting.
Thank you. Well, we have a graphics case tonight.
Do you want to go ahead and go through the full planning schedule first?
No, we can go through this graphics case. Yeah, so do you want to call up 700 East Long Street?
I don't think they're here.
Michael Kelly's not here. Yeah,
Oh.
but
Yes.
if you're ready to proceed.
Yes.
Absolutely.
For those in the audience, we're projecting on the screen, if you'd like to see it with us.
Egg timer, but I'm happy to keep time from my,
Thank you so much.
no problem. 3 minutes, whenever you're ready to this. I will. Once you start, you know.
As I said, now.
Yeah.
Just kind of guide me through anything you particularly like me to highlight if you'd like.
Okay, so this application is to the Graphics Commission for a graphics plan. It is application GC 25006, address is 700 East Long Street. This is the Kelly Company's Deal family application. You can start going through the pictures. These were construction photos about 3 weeks ago, so the building's a little farther along now. If you recall, it's a 5-story ground level commercial and parking structure and 4 floors of apartments. So it's considerably far along in terms of construction. The pending application before you, yep, there you go, Deal exterior signage package. Renderings of the building. Yep. Okay, so on 3 sides, the building will be identified as the Deal on the parapet. That's one issue because signage on the parapet is a roof graphic under the city graphics code. You can keep rolling. And then that's the entrance to the residential area. There's some similar tenant signage for 2 commercial tenants as you roll on through. Michael Kelly, with his designer, designed that logo. It looks like a small letter D, but the curves of the letter also look like a dove, and that was intentional. Intentional homage to the Deal family and how they want to represent the building. So the building identification and tenant signage is very modest. You can keep rolling. There's an example of the 2 tenant bays and a plan view of it. And more of the Deal. There we go, Bronzeville. Bronzeville's planned to be identified with a roof-mounted graphic that's would be facing west towards downtown. So it will announce the entrance to Bronzeville as with eastbound traffic and the eastbound views from downtown. And then Deal. Tenant signage. We have small wall graphics, and then if you'll keep rolling, there's two options for projecting sign. There you go, rectangle or a circular sign. Both the designer and Michael are working with how they want to handle that, but that would be a very small projecting sign right at the corner of the building at Hamilton and Long.
This is option 1.
And that would be for tenant identification. And then the clock. Michael's planning a clock on the building. This is not a graphic under the city code, but it's just included in the package of what the exterior will look like. So there's the narrative on the graphics plan, and the graphics plan just describes what the proposed graphics are. And with Columbus Graphics Commission approval that what you just scrolled through on the exhibits will be the total of graphics permitted at the property. So, that one, no? Michael Kelly, everybody?
Sorry.
Welcome.
If you'd like me to zoom back up to any particular part of the document, let me know.
We've gone through the renderings and the different signs, and
Okay.
just a touch on the history of how you design them.
Okay.
But if there's anything else you
Oh,
want to
yeah.
add, yeah.
So, if you maybe go to the canopy, I mean, the only thing I'd add is just a little further down, kind of you're seeing a little bit of this, initial imagery of the branding that we're trying to bring about with this project. So, if you zoom in on the face of that canopy, that's the Deal logo that we're working with. And you can see that kind of resembles a musical note, so we're leaning into the history of the neighborhood in terms of jazz, Art Deco style building, also the history of the Deal family with Aaron Deal, who's a great jazz musician, jazz pianist. But his grandfather who played jazz at the Macon and in the neighborhood. But then you also see in the negative space of that particular mark, the dove of the Deal Funeral Home. So we've got more in the brand that'll come out, but it's kind of making its way into the signage package that you're seeing today.
So in addition to the NEAC process, this was also heard by Bronzeville and very much supported.
Sure. What's the questions from, or take it to the questions from commissioners?
Chair Harris's girl.
No, this is your.
Yeah, we're still
Are there
planning
any
for
questions? Are there any questions from the commission?
Can you show the north facing elevation?
Yes, I think that was a little further up, or was it further down? It was further down. 31, moving here, line navigate. West and north.
Are any of these signage on the north side illuminated?
The halo lit sign that says Deal is gonna be illuminated the same way that, at the top of that tower facing west and then facing south, you have the clock and then you have the halo lit Deal sign above it. So, that's the only sign on the north elevation that's illuminated. And then we have a good amount of architectural lighting on this building, like the pilasters are all getting uplit. And then those, the facades up there on that tower where they recess back will have kind of lighting shining up onto the walls to like draw the eye up to the top.
Looking at I didn't know that area, like the south and to the east are commercial structures, but to the north is residential, so just, just thinking around the illumination and any concerns that the residents might raise later once it's built and those lights are turned on, if there's a dimmer that's gonna be built in that you can.
Well, yeah, that's I think the halo lit sign is gonna be okay. I think maybe the more, like if you look at the garage entry, where there's a kind of a canopy over that and we'll have down lights, like can lights.
Yeah.
And we'll need to make sure that the color temperature of that is appropriate and not like super bright white,
Yeah.
because I think that'll be more like abrasive
Right.
to the residential than maybe at the top of the tower. But that's a good color.
Go ahead, Casey.
How many faces on the clock? Is it just?
There's 3 clocks. There's 3
Okay.
totally separate clocks. There's like that 6-story tower and it faces, you can see it from the north, the west and the south.
Okay.
And so we've got 3 clocks going in there with the Deal sign over top of each of them.
How reliable are those clocks?
I'm told they're reliable. It's a company, Tower Clocks USA out of
South Carolina, that only does architectural building clocks. And they tell me there's a controller in there that, that's like, will run wiring back to a interior space. And the controller will adjust for daylight savings time. If the power goes out, it will update it when the power goes back on. That's what they tell me, and so we're installing it, and our main focus is getting all the penetrations sealed, so there's, that water coming in. But yeah, I was worried that we were gonna have to go up and manually change it every time, and they tell me, no, there's a controller that adjusts, so.
It's a really neat idea, and I just hope that we don't end up with a.
2 times a day, right, clock?
That's only right once or twice a day.
Yeah. Yeah, someone was just telling me about, there's a clock in Ireland, there's 4 faces, and they're all different, and they're all wrong. And so there was a band that called themselves the 4-Face Liar after that particular building. So yeah, hopefully we're not doing that.
Any other commission questions? Nope. Commissioner Frost.
I apologize in advance. I wasn't gonna ask this, but Casey started it. Is there a story with the clock? I mean, is it just pretty?
No, it's just pretty. This was, okay, so this design was originally by David Maleka. He's the director of classical design at Moody Nolan.
Okay.
And is very well respected for classical design. He's an AIA fellow, so he's like top 1%. And he put together this design and included that clock in the very first rendering. And so then as we got closer to actually having to build it, we then had to tackle the question of how are we pulling that off? And so we found this clock company, and we went back to David, there was all sorts of ways you could make it look. So we went back to David, and he was very particular about it has 2 Roman numerals on the top and the bottom. He had to go to his classical books but no, it's really more just the aesthetic.
I had something with the funeral director and clocks.
No, not for the clock. But Aaron asked if we could do Aaron lives in New York, and he travels a lot to play. And he was out somewhere in Europe where they had a bell. And he texted me and asked if we could do a bell with it too. But I didn't, it wasn't feasible unless we were doing big speakers.
There are enough churches with bells.
Yeah.
It's
So it would just be silent box.
Commissioner Lewis.
I would just like to make a comment of thanking you for all your effort to make this building happen. I feel like it's the classiest building we're gonna have in the neighborhood for some time, and I think it's wonderful as an entrance point into Bronxville, so thank you.
Thank you.
And I guess I'll comment. I was thinking that, piggyback off of Commissioner Lowenstein, that, it's gonna be to me, I have 22 grandkids and I live in a neighborhood. And so I can give them a marker, find the building with the clock on it.
And don't
They'll
be
know
late.
which one
Yeah,
it is.
figure it out from there, so I think it's a good thing
Thank
to
you.
have those clocks on.
Thank you.
Any other commission questions or comments? Any community input? Hearing none. I'll entertain a motion to approve the design for the deal.
I move to approve. Second, Benson.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, raise your hand, please. That's 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I think, 12. Any opposed? Any abstentions? 1.
Yeah.
The motion pass. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Here's the form for yours.
You are, yeah.
Forms for the other.
It's okay.
Two, if you want them.
Oh, yeah, you
You
already
already
got it.
have them.
Perfect, yeah.
We'll figure that out.
All righty, does that conclude, the planning report?
Yes, it does.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Rice. We'll now move to, zoning with, Commissioner Lowenstein.
All right, so we actually only have two cases tonight. This one was tabled at site visit meeting 172 North 21st Street. So when you make your presentation, keep in mind that some of the people on the commissions have not, they aren't on the planning committee or the zoning committee and haven't seen anything about this yet. But give us in a couple of minutes a summary of what you're proposing, what variances, the zoning changes are needed, and take it away.
Okay. Lonnie, introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is Lonnie Freeman, owner of Blue Chip Development Group. I'm a builder here in urban Columbus, mostly in your neighborhood. Just finished on Fair Avenue, Loeffler. I've done 3 on 20th. Everybody just got a permanent group on Kendall. So this is what I do full time. I build homes, build houses, mostly for sale, not for rental. I don't have any rentals in the neighborhood. I build for sale property, houses and condos. And that's what we're here to propose today.
Yeah, okay, so we have application BCA 25020 pending for Lonnie, Blue Chip Homes. You can start scrolling through.
Absolutely.
The site, aerial photography, the site is north of East Long. And here we go, ground photo, the brick building and part of the area, the green area south of the brick is in a 60-foot wide parcel. It was combined sometime prior to 1920 with who knows why, but the variance application is to split the parcel as depicted, and the reason a variance application is required is because of the south projection of the existing building, which will be remodeled, but the south projection requires us to skirt the property line around that to maintain code required side yard on both buildings. So it reduces slightly the platted lot to the south. So this is all about a variance you hear all the time to reduce lot width from 50 feet to 30 feet and to reduce area from 6,000 square feet in the R2F district to 3,800 and 3,700 feet respectively. All of these 30-foot lots, or as far as you can see in the area, were in a subdivision plat, all platted at 30 feet wide and the corresponding depth. So let's see, keep rolling. Let's get the floor plans. There we go. There's building rendering of what Lonnie will be building, single family dwelling. So it's splitting the parcel with the existing single family, and Lonnie will build a new single family. You can keep rolling. It's more elevations and then materials. So this is the last meeting, as you know, of the NEAC process. This is also in Bronzeville, and Bronzeville was very supportive of the project.
And I will say so was the zoning committee at the site visit meeting last Saturday voted in favor. Did not appear controversial to anyone who's there.
Any comments?
All right, I have no comments personally on this. It seemed very kind of a vanilla building, didn't raise a lot of issues. But perhaps someone else on the commission would like to make a statement or ask a question of the applicant.
There was some community support at the site visit for it.
Good point. Anyone else wish to comment on this on the commission?
A question, do you guys own the existing parcel today, or are you splitting it and just buying the one? Is that?
So we currently own the house, the parcel we're proposing to split into the parcels to the south. So there's no variances needed for that parcel, but we will be doing a single family home there. So what will end up being is a renovated home, the brick building, and 2 single family homes.
Is that a recent purchase? Just curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The previous owner apparently liked their privacy a lot, cause like everything is blocked out from being.
So the parcel to the south, the title company actually messed up by closing, they didn't deed that to me, that's supposed to be rectified like 2 weeks ago. It may not be reflected on the auditor site, but I do have the deed that shows that I own the parcel.
So Google, sometimes that blurring is permanent. So when
Yeah.
someone blurs an image of a home, you can't unblur it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Anyone else on the commission have any comments or questions? Anyone in the community wish to say anything about this case? Seeing nothing, entertain a motion to approve.
So move, Chris.
Second,
Second.
Benson.
You gotta choose. Who's second?
Benson second.
All right. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's all of us. If there were any votes otherwise, I don't know what to say about that. 0-0. You have our recommendation of support. The chair will fill out your recommendation form, which I think he's doing right now.
We say thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. While that's getting wrapped up, oh, but you know the drill, send us a copy of the,
Thank you.
when you forward this to the, planning folks. The, roads, 598 Roads was tabled, so we have 576 Fairwood Avenue as the case tonight.
Okay, 576 Fairwood. This is a vacant lot between East Mound and East Fulton. It is zoned R3. The proposal is to build a 2-unit building on the parcel. Let's start rolling through things there. There's aerial photography with the location, and there's a ground photo. After that, there we go. That green area, the alley's cut off a little bit on the left side of the photo, but there are actually 2 lots there. The lot next to the house that you see is the subject of this application. The next lot is a city land bank parcel. So in time, there will be 2 buildings there. Proposal, there we go with the site plan to build a 2-unit building and detached garage. And let's see, floor plans, and then there's building elevations. Yep, there we go. So that's the proposed building. And I think there are a couple more, there's a couple more elevations and materials. So the variances are variance to the R3 district to permit a 2-family dwelling in a single-family district. This R3 was part of the 1974 huge area rezoning done by the city, the model cities rezoning, and there are plenty of 2-unit buildings in the area. We're reducing parking from 4 spaces to 3. That lot width variance again to reduce from 50 feet to 37 feet is the existing lot, and side yard reduced from 7.4 to 6 feet, 3-foot side yards on both sides. Very, very typical for buildings in the area. Let's see, we met, we had the NEAC zoning committee last Saturday, and then after that, we met with the South of Maine group, and South of Maine was very supportive also.
Okay, I would note, site visit meeting resulted in a vote in favor, not controversial. That we noted the number, we noted that there are more single-family houses in the area, but there are some doubles. It's not out of character with the area, and it's consistent with our zoning density principles to integrate a double into an area of mixed single and 2-unit buildings. So really didn't raise a ton of questions for us, and there was community support for it as well. So others on the commission wish to ask any questions, make any comments?
The comments and the question, first question, you pull up this site plan again. I was just curious around, I don't know if it got brought up or not, but a question that I had was around where, so you'll have 2 units, which means 4 containers, where those containers would be placed out on the site.
there'll be, well, there'll be either the 90s, or if the city's, I forget, does the city have the bulk containers?
Not, no, not this, the same, they've all been placed out, so there'll be 2 recycle and 2 green trash cans, so just.
Would you like to see the
consideration.
street view as well? Would that help?
No, I live across the street, I live at 519 Fairwood, so
Oh, do you?
I'm very
Okay.
familiar with the neighborhood.
Yeah, cool.
I just want to make that comment around, like, just making sure that there is a plan for figuring out where those 4 containers are gonna go. It's not required, as you are well aware, but just as a curiosity, just where those are gonna go, and hopefully not in the alley.
Yeah, good point. Probably the garage side yard, but good question.
Yeah, and then just a comment for awareness, if you guys aren't aware, there did used to be a home on this lot that exploded, and so I don't know what's left there, but, just as a heads up.
I'm sorry, it exploded?
It exploded, or there's some sort of fire, it was very
Gas?
suspicious.
Gas leak or?
I don't know, the fire department was out, this was like 3 years ago, so, it was under very suspicious circumstances that the house went up in flames.
It wasn't a gas leak.
It's not here.
It just wasn't.
Okay, well, everybody.
It's a lovely street, by the way, everyone.
Looks like your side road, just went out.
Yeah. Well, everybody, Carrick is the project architect, and it sounds like there may need to be some borings or soil testing.
I actually think the house sat way back, so it's about where the garage is at.
Okay,
So,
maybe not. I would just say I really like the design on this one. Columbus Design Code does a really good job, and so thanks for presenting this to us. It's something
Thanks for
that.
not calling it vanilla.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not vanilla, but I think it's appropriately, within sort of the bounds of what we're looking for, and so just thanks. I don't make a lot of comments on design, but I really like this design, so.
Vanilla is just a synonym for non-controversial. Doesn't raise a lot of issues. No, but we do appreciate, I make this comment all the time about how we're not a design review board. And so people do bring us modern architecture, which is fine if it's done sensitively and pays respect to the setting that it's in, but it's always very easy to support projects that have architecture that fit in, more traditionally, so we always appreciate that. Okay, well, anybody else have anything to say on the commission? Yes, sir.
Can we just confirm, what are the variances that are being requested here?
Side yards. It's R2, is this R2F or?
It's R3.
R3, so it's
so
single
variance.
family, so to put 2 units on it requires a variance for number of units, parking spaces.
Lot width.
And the lot width being less than 50 feet, yep. Okay, anyone in the community would say anything about this? Not seeing anything, I entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
second.
Bryce and Lacey. Huh?
Wow.
All right, let's move on. All in favor? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 opposed, abstentions. 1201, you have our support.
Thank you again.
The chair will fill out your recommendation form. Let us.
Bring those other 2 back
Yeah.
real quick, yeah. I got you there, man. All righty. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it is sort of, that's interesting.
Yep.
And that is.
Check for information. I was gonna ask you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
I don't miss it.
It was a short meeting for zoning, so that's it.
All righty.
Zoning.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lowenstein, thank you.
It's a
for
pretty
the-
building.
Commissioner Lowenstein told me that digital projection was operational, and actually I appreciate that a lot versus all the paper I usually.
Let me get you your flash drive back, actually, before I let you leave. Yeah, that would not be fun.
Yeah, with this one, we love trying to save the trees now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Does that conclude the zoning report, Commissioner Lowenstein? Yeah, it does. All right, we'll now move to, community engagement with, Madam Vice Chair.
Yes, so I will be giving you all our social media metrics. So, with our insights, it analyzes the last 25 days. So on Facebook, we have had 8K views, which puts our views up at 39.5%. We've had 380 content interactions, which pushes us to 414% from the last 28 days, and we have gotten 16 follows, which pushes us up 433%. And once we get to 100 followers on Facebook, we'll be able to see more metrics. So we're almost there. And then we created our Instagram account in March. So in regard to Instagram, our views have obviously increased by 100% since it's new. So we've had 2,000K views and 83 content impressions. And that concludes my report.
I can get us some views for Facebook. I should have told them.
Commissioner Lease got us a lot of views from sharing the District 4 post. So if you all would like to reshare with your networks, it will get our views up.
My network
Hopefully
isn't
people will
very
like our
large,
page.
but I just wanted to tell you, I think, you're doing a great job with the social media posts. I mean, my picture's terrible, but that's okay, right? But really, the Q1 update from the chair and whatnot, it's been really nice to see some engagement and to see us, sort of, I think, doing the work to try to engage with folks at a different level. So thank you for your effort.
Thank you.
I didn't know we was on Facebook.
My
My picture on Facebook?
It is.
The professional one that we took that looks amazing, by the way.
Yeah, all of our pictures are nice.
Yeah, y'all look good. Y'all look real good. I'll say
Every
that.
single one.
Does that conclude your report?
It does.
All righty. We'll now move on to special committee reports, technology committee. If you all go to www.neareastareacommission.org, our website is live. Been a long time running, but it is live. Definitely want to thank commissioners.
What did I type in wrong?
Commissions?
So I want to thank Commissioners Lease and Commissioners Rice, along with myself, for getting the website up to its current state.
Hey.
There's still more things to be added that are currently hidden because it's still being built out. But committees and things like that will be added here in the near future. But Commissioner Lees did a fantastic job with some of the history pages that are there from pulling from various organizations. Commissioner Rice did a fantastic job in moving documents over into a new driving location so that individuals can have access to all past meeting minutes and agendas and things like that. Yeah, there's still more to come. So, and then we can now encourage signups on the website for our newsletter and so forth that will go out as well. Which is, so yeah, so we finally have a website. It's been a long time running, but we have it. There's still more to come of it. If you go to the commissioners page, which is nope, click about and then click commissioners. There you go. You can see all 16 lovely faces of that. Please, no resignations. Let's take that now. Go ahead and stick through. At the end of the year, please. But all of that is updated onto the site. And if you would like to be a part of the work that the technology committee is doing, more emails and things like that are to come about when that committee will meet next, because there's still more work to do, and even Commissioner Koski will be playing around with the website and getting some things.
I did, I made a little account.
See?
Yes, I did.
See?
But
So,
I don't
boom.
wanna mess anything up that people are.
Oh no, trust me, there's an undo button. So trust me. So again, thank you so much for all those who have been a part of that. Also, we now have official email accounts. So again, I announced earlier that the new general email will be general@neareastareacommission.org. That will be the inbox that Autumn and I will oversee. And then now planning, zoning, and community engagement all have their unique email inboxes as well. Zoning at neareastareacommission.org, planning at neareastareacommission.org, and community at neareastareacommission.org. And then aliases can be set up to where you all can have individualized emails, but it can go to one particular inbox. And so if, for example, if Commissioner Rice wanted to send a planning email, it can be rice@neareastareacommission.org, and all of the information will go directly into planning. And so as people do transition and things like this, by having things centralized, we won't have to worry about information being lost, and things like that. Plus, it gives us much more storage. We have, I think, it's buku amount of terabytes now when it comes to the amount of storage we can put into our drive, and also various AI capabilities. There's a lot that can be done with this. So I will work with. I got you, Commissioner Lawrence. I know you sent me a couple questions. We will work with you and all the committees to make sure that it's a smooth transition over when it comes to transitioning documents that were in the old drives into this new drive, and just making sure that all of our emails are updated across the board so that developers and so forth know the right address to send information to. And hopefully by August, we can retire those Gmail accounts and not really have to use them anymore. Any questions on technology? Any questions? Any questions? This will be a slow process, but we'll continue to work it out and to learn the kinks. And Commissioner Police is definitely very knowledgeable of this and can support too. And again, Commissioner Rice, you've really been diving into. I get an email about every day from Commissioner Rice of how much work he's been doing with transferring content. So thank you so much. So that's the end of the technology report. So now we'll go over to the treasurer's report. You got this?
I do. Mr. Ovalle was kind enough to give us an update. So as of last month, there was still some money in the account, and it appears that in the last week, the chair has succeeded in spending all but $1.97 of it.
That's what we like to see.
Go buy a pack of gum.
Most of the expenditures are associated with technology. So getting to where we are now in terms of a domain, a workspace, and so forth, we have spent really all but $1.97. So those were expenditures that needed to occur by April 10th, which is what it is.
That's today.
So that's where we are, and sadly, we will return $1.97, which we should give them back in pennies.
Perfect.
Just I'm just teasing. But the other point I would like to make is we owe the city a new budget, as of, by April 30th. So we do need, given that we don't have an executive committee meeting, between now and the end of the month, we do need to have some kind of a process by which we identify our at least categories for expenditure for the fiscal year going forward, after beginning May 1. So I'm certainly happy to serve on that committee, and I think the chair should be on it, but perhaps we should have sort of an ad hoc budget committee on that. Chair, what would you like to see done in order to resolve that?
Hey, you are the treasurer, so I trust whatever you.
Well,
whatever
I'm
you suggest.
asking, okay, I just wanted to give you,
Yeah.
if you had a definite
Oh.
idea of what you wanted to do with it, I was offering you that. But in the, if not, then I would look for a couple of volunteers in addition to the chair and myself to, or what we could do is sort of add in an executive committee meeting that we do kind of on an ad hoc basis in order to plan that spending. So,
I like the idea of an ad hoc
executive committee meeting? All right, so we need to find a date that folks are available for that, and I would suggest we do that in the next, given that we've got 20 days, we maybe want to do that within the next week to 10 days. So, if anyone, you know, wishes to, I mean, I'm open to anyone who has ideas wishing to serve on that. Some of our expenditures historically have been associated with community engagement committee work, right? So if the chair of that committee wishes to participate, that'd be helpful if you have ideas.
As vice chair of planning, my ideas revolve around the three things that I've seen that we spent the most money on that we probably will continue to spend money on is going to be technology, advertisement, and then the moonshot is food in the future. I learned that there was a process for that for community members so that, you know, folks can have maybe something small to take home, maybe some candy that we can hand out. But technology, because we need upgrades, and then advertisement, specifically the flyers that were made that we handed out around the community. I got a lot of mileage on those for new community members that would come to the meetings. It was a really good way to give them information that they could take home outside of the website. That was always a plug, but that physical pamphlet had a lot of really good information. Basically had a summary of all the information we'd want any new person to know to be able to come back.
So perhaps Madam Vice Chair, the chair, yourself, Commissioner Rice, and myself, I'll reach out to four of you to see what date. I'll offer a handful of dates and we'll see what works for people. I'll try to do that tomorrow or
If it needs to be submitted to the city by the end of the month, you said?
Yeah.
So I mean, there needs to be a special meeting of this body to approve the.
That's an excellent point. Mr.
Because,
Abaye,
yeah, budget should be
are you looking
approved.
for the general body to vote on that budget?
So in the past, your NEAC has submitted a template or whatnot. Obviously, the amounts that you put in each category was changed, will vary, you know, throughout the year or whatnot, and if we need to, we can make a budget revision. But for example, like the budget that was submitted from January 1st to April 10th or whatnot, right? That was created within the meeting.
Right.
I think one of the meetings y'all discussed it, kind of the different categories and just kind of broke it down and ballparked it. I've submitted that and the commission voted on it. So again, that could be something that could be done tonight if you do want to move forward and kind of put a little more time and line item by line item, but just keep in mind too that this is just an idea so the Department of Neighborhoods could have an idea how NEAC plans to spend it. Obviously, things could change throughout the year. So my suggestion or recommendation would be if you could avoid the extra meeting going forward, that'd be great.
Yeah, I would hope so, given that we know the amount that we're dealing with. It's not like the commission is needing to authorize the expenditure of a certain amount of money. We know it's $2,500. It's just about what categories it's in. Possibly we could vote here to authorize the executive committee through this process to approve and submit that budget.
If it's just 2,500, I mean,
Yeah.
just, if it's $2,500 and, you know, we have a good idea of what we spent on in the past and it's something that can be modified in the future, could we not just vote here now to split it into thirds and say 33% is going to community engagement, 33% to technology, and then we then later figure out where that money is going to be spent on, since it can be adjusted.
I don't know, that, it can be, but that seems so.
But it sounds like it's arbitrary, no offense, it sounds like it's an arbitrary process to
But
begin
I
with.
personally, as treasurer, I would like to see it be somewhat better thought out than that.
Is someone entertaining a motion?
Yes.
I move to authorize the executive committee to approve a budget for the upcoming fiscal year for this
Is
body.
there a second?
Second.
You win.
Hanford,
You win
Humphreys.
this time. All right, all in favor? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11. Opposed? You're opposed?
I am.
You wish to say why you're opposed to that process? Okay, and one abstention, so it's 11-1-1. So we'll go ahead based on that authorization and do it. I think we're good.
If you ever have another suggestion, you can also make a counter motion to.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
All righty. So what I would like is, if you all have, suggestions and so forth of what you would like to see a part of the budget, if you could send those to my email within 7 days. And the executive committee can probably meet. I'm just gonna say, I think we'll all be here for the special meeting on Sawyer Towers. So maybe it's meeting 30 minutes prior to that to go over that budget. And so that's on the 24th. And we will send that budget out for review for the commission and so forth. And then we'll have that submitted by the 30th. Is that a fair process?
That's a good.
So give
great process.
everybody 7 days to send their ideas and so forth. Then we will meet and formalize the budget, send it back out for all of you to get eyes on it, make any modifications. Then we'll send it to Mr. O'Brien. All righty. No old business, new business. We have one person, or actually two people, who have shared that they would be interested in serving as secretary. One person formally, Commissioner Rice, had sent me an email saying if no one has said anything, that he would be willing to step in and serve as secretary for the commission. And then kind of this brief conversation, Commissioner Koski said that she would be willing to support Commissioner Rice in the secretarial role, in which I didn't share with Commissioner Koski that my great grandmother was the assistant executive administrator, executive assistant secretary for the commission in the 70s. No, they're different. So yeah, they existed. All right, so there were two secretaries. You know, we had two. We needed two secretaries back then. Barely get one this year. So
No, you have two.
hearing that, do we have any nominations for secretary?
Motion to approve by unanimous consent.
All right, so we have one nomination for Commissioner Rice. Are there any other nominations for secretary?
I wasn't trying to make it a competition, I was gonna raise my hand as to volunteer, but if Bob wants to do it, I will not. You know.
So you got
Yes.
two people that.
You got an out.
You have an out.
That doesn't stop you. You
You're
still.
Willing and able.
All right. So hearing that there's one nomination for secretary, do we have a motion
I move a motion to accept the nomination of Commissioner Rice as Secretary of NEAC, through unanimous consent.
Second.
Yep, all right, okay, and who seconded it?
Wilbur.
All right, it has been moved.
There still needs to be a vote according to our bylaws.
I-
You can't override the bylaws with a motion like that.
Or are we governed by Robert's rules?
Yeah,
We're
it's Robert's
governed
rules.
by Robert's rules unless the bylaws specifically say otherwise, and the bylaws specifically say that there needs to be a majority vote. I think it's actually 2/3 vote for executive
For
office.
an executive office.
Well, if it's unanimous consent and there's no abstentions, then, or there's no, nays, then it's automatically unanimously consented to.
We still have to.
According to
vote.
Robert's
We still
rules.
have to vote.
He's right.
Do you wanna do roll call then, or how do you wanna do
We
it?
just say all in favor.
Yeah.
The chair just calls for a vote.
All right, all those in favor of nominating Commissioner Rice, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All those opposed and all those abstaining. All right, 12-0-1.
Wait, sorry, let me let you make the, I was quick on the draw, that's my bad.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Rice, and even, the other commissioners as well, who said that they would serve alongside him. So, definitely reach out, just, we can definitely all support in good and unique ways. Final announcement is our t-shirts are here. They were here last month, I just forgot to pass them out. So we can just get your sizes and everything, and then for those community members, there are t-shirts for them too, that have yet to be ordered, but they are coming. Lastly, if you all would like to come to, what's the place? Local Cantina Trolley Barn. That's where we're headed afterwards. Get a taco and some water for me. Please do join us at Local Cantina Trolley Barn. It is 7:49. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Motion. Second, Benson.
All right, all those are in favor, raise your hand.
Maybe that.
All right, opposed. All right,